Hey everybody, welcome back to Video Game. So, taking out a fun and exciting episode for you guys today because we're revisiting the Sega Rally 2 25th Anniversary Edition PC release. I did a video on this maybe 6 weeks or so ago and said it was an absolutely awesome upgrade on the PC version of Sega Rally 2, bringing in so many modern quality of life features and improved visuals. One of the things it didn't yet support that it now does is full 16:9 widescreen, which you would see in something like Supermodel, and that was one of those things people wanted to know when it was going to come, and it is here today. Before you get too far involved though, do me a huge favor down below, hit like and subscribe and ring that notification bell, definitely helps us out. And if you feel so inclined and want to support the channel, we got a Patreon link down below as well. But honestly, I absolutely love Sega Rally 2. It is one of the best Sega racing games of all time, and Sega Rally 2 25th Anniversary Edition takes that and modernizes it for a new audience. Obviously, this is not going to have the geometry of something like a modern game, but it still does an amazing job of actually making this thing feel like something that could have released 10 years ago, not closer to 25 years. And one of the big questions was, how does it stack up against Supermodel and Model 3 emulation? And that's exactly what we're going to be talking about in this video, as well as the improvements. So let's go ahead and hop over from the PC version of the game to the Sega Model 3 version running on Supermodel. Obviously, this gets the same internal rendering resolution bumps, it gets the same widescreen support, and it is the same game. Now, compared between the two, Supermodel and Model 3 are going to have a different look than the PC version of the game, and it's going to be completely subjective as to which one you prefer. So leave me a comment down below and you tell me, do you like the PC version of the game or do you like Supermodel? They have completely different colorways in a lot of aspects, and I would say that Supermodel has much less draw distance in the actual image, but otherwise they're very comparable. Now, on the PC side of things, you're going to get full force feedback and rumble support. I absolutely love feeling the rumble come across the controller with all of the different textures. Whether you're in mud, tarmac, or cobblestone, you get a really good haptic feedback on what you're doing. But obviously Supermodel here does an amazing job with wheels as well, or in an analog controller, and absolutely does look stunning. Really, the main takeaway here is it's great to have options, and because the PC version of the game really couldn't rival Supermodel before these updates, now we have two competing products that definitely could go toe-to-toe with one another, and either could win. Now, moving back over to the PC version of the game, I did leave the bezels on just because they were kind of amusing, but you're going to have a full reshade menu in the game, so you can go ahead and hit the home button and adjust whatever you want. And I would say the motion cadence here on the screen, all of the frame rate just absolutely looks stunning. You can render this thing up to 4K internal rendering resolution, so you're going to get an extremely clean, good-looking image. And I would say the cockpit view, definitely the only way to play Sega Rally 2 in my opinion, but because we are talking about graphical fidelity, I did show the back of the car in some shots. That way you can actually take a look at what the vehicles look like. Now, you might notice a little bit more draw in on this PC version of the game, but I don't really think it is that fundamentally different from what you're seeing on Model 3. And I absolutely love the screen clarity we're getting here. There's just something so good about this generation of Sega racers, and for the longest time the PC version of this game was basically inoperable. Good luck getting it to run on a modern operating system. Now today, you can go ahead and install it like you would any other application, and it 100% just works, and during the installation you can pick the widescreen options as well. This thing will go all the way up to ultra widescreen, but that isn't a very good capture format for YouTube. But I do have two ultra wide monitors, and honestly playing it in that format is a ton of fun. But you tell me down below as well, classic 4:3 or 16:9, I would be curious. And I did play around with this on my OLED 4K in my living room as well, and it absolutely looks even better there when you actually get all the color rendition colorways out onto an OLED monitor. But just like before, let's jump back to Supermodel and the Model 3 version of the game, and you can see here, this is one where the comparison is very close. I do think there might be a few more characters running away from the cars in the actual cores, and again, in Rally, people love to stand really close to the road and sometimes get hit. Not sure why they do that, just a thing. But I would say that maybe you're going to get a few more details here and there out of Supermodel 3. But in this setup respect, the PC version of the game just works. If you plug in a wheel, if you plug in an Xbox controller, it is just going to automatically read those and give you full controller or wheel support. Where in something like Supermodel, even with the graphical user interface, it does take more setting up. So the PC version of the game definitely is going to win as far as ease of use is concerned. But do you even use Supermodel? I would be curious, so tell me down below as well. And if you do want to use and don't know how, there are some tutorials on Model 3 arcade emulation on my emulation emulation night school playlist that'll help you get absolutely everything set up. But I would say here on Model 3, another amazing looking image, and really it's so good to see what the community does when it comes to keeping these games alive. But now we're going to do a soundtrack sample. We're going to start with the PC version, then go to Model 3, listen to the sound quality, and you tell me if you can hear any difference. But enjoy, and I'll be right back with a lot more.
2, 1, go! 50, long, easy right, maybe. 100, very, very long, easy left, maybe, open. 200, easy right, easy left. 70, long, medium left. Go! 50, long, easy right, maybe. 100, very, very long, easy left, maybe, open. 200, easy right, easy left. 70, long, medium left. 150, medium right. 50, medium right.
That's a really interesting comparison because one, I would say that on the PC version of the game you're getting higher quality audio, but the audio balance is a little bit worse. Where on the Model 3 version of the game, I don't think the audio quality is as good, probably just down to the fact that it is a ROM that had to compress some things and keep sizes smaller, but I would say the audio balance is a little bit better. Now you can play around with the audio options in the options menu on the PC version of the game, where clearly you're not going to get an options menu on the arcade version, so it is something that you can articulate, so I feel like that's kind of a draw. But again, you tell me down below what you think. And as we go through the snowy stage here, the one that always knocks me out, you might see a little bit of almost like loading in the snow. You'll see that little shadow that keeps creeping forward. Not sure what that is, if it's just textures loading into a high resolution. I haven't really been able to figure out exactly what's going on there, but it is something you might notice. You'll see here I ran out of time. Where we go back to the Model 3 version of the game, definitely looks great. You don't see that, but I would say that some of the color vibrancy here, I actually prefer the PC version of the game with all the reshade options that have been selected for the 25th Anniversary Edition. So it really, again, is subjective which one you like the look of better. I would say sometimes Model 3 beats out the PC version, and sometimes the PC version beats out Model 3, really making this thing, at least on performance and visuals, a complete push as far as I'm concerned. But the nice thing is with the PC version of the game, you'll see again, that stage always beats me. You are going to get more options. You're going to get more modes. You're going to get more tracks. You're just going to get more Sega Rally 2. And honestly, that is always a great thing. And there's something about the city course here with those glowing lights in the building in the background. I know they're just textures, but they kind of look like they glow. That I think just look great on the 25th Anniversary Edition. All of these lanterns, all of the frame rate, just make Sega Rally 2 feel about as good and as modern as you could possibly get while having an extremely easy setup. Because the only thing you need to do to install this on your PC is double click the executable, go through the options menu and hit finish. Where on Supermodel you have a lot of different diverse options that you need to toggle through with the graphical user interface, with binding the controls and all sorts of different toggles to get the graphics out that you want. Well, I would say this one jungle stage maybe not the most appealing, not only in the original version but even in the repack. Just never really felt like a great course to me as far as the visuals are concerned. But it's soundtrack sample 2 time, PC version from start to finish. Go ahead and listen for 45 seconds and I'll be right back with more.
150, medium left, maybe, caution, narrow, bridge. 100, caution, K left, K right. 150, very long, easy right, tight. 100, easy left, caution, crest. 50, easy right, 100, medium left. Checkpoint, 100, caution, crest, water. 150, caution, very, very long, medium right, tight.
I mean, Sega Rally 2 has always had a great soundtrack, and it's no different here in the PC version of the game. And honestly, I just love that fans out there make these things possible. Because again, if you try to play the PC version of the game, if you just had a disc sitting on your shelf and tried to pop it in on Windows 10 or Windows 11, you would have an absolute hell of a time actually getting this thing to run. Because the reality is, a lot of these old PC games, Sega games especially, just do not like to work on modern systems. So fans go in, modify everything to make sure it runs, and give you an absolutely better looking version of it already incredible game, because between the 16:9 and ultra-wide support, the 4K internal rendering resolution, and all of the other options, you just have what is one of the best versions of Sega Rally 2 you could ever possibly imagine. Now, is it as good or better than the Sega Model 3 and Supermodel version of the game? You leave me a comment down below and you tell me. Sega Rally 2 on the PC or Model 3, I would be curious, but you really can't go wrong with either version of the game because they are both absolutely incredible, and both of them blow away the Dreamcast version of the game, even if you run it on something like Flycast with mods and resolution bumps, just because that port was never great to start with, which means that it really can't be any better on something like emulation. But we're done. I'm going to keep on racing. The link to grab this thing is down below, and I'll see you guys next time. Hope you enjoyed the video, though. Bye-bye.